If you're building an app, launching a startup, or sharing your ideas with anyone, whether it's friends, family, investors, or potential team members, you need to protect yourself legally. The biggest mistakes founders make is assuming trust is enough. But in business, trust alone doesn't cut it. If it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. Verbal agreements and handshakes don't hold up when things go wrong. And when money, equity, or intellectual property are on the line, having the right contracts in place is the difference between success and complete disaster. Today, I'm going to walk you through the key contracts and NDAs every founder needs, who to use them with, and what they should include. So basically how to avoid common mistakes that could put your business or app at risk. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what legal documents to have in place before you start sharing your ideas, hiring people, or bringing on investors. Let's start with the non-disclosure agreement, or NDA. An NDA is your first line of defense when discussing your app or business with anyone, whether it's a developer, designer, potential investor, or even a close friend helping you brainstorm. An NDA legally binds the other party to keep any confidential information you share private and prevents them from using or stealing your idea. The biggest myth about NDAs is that investors won't sign them. That's so not true. While some top-tier VCs may refuse, many angel investors, early stage partners, and contractors expect NDAs as part of doing business. If someone refuses to sign an NDA, that's a red flag, especially if they have no legitimate reason to avoid it. Your NDA should include clear definitions of what is considered confidential, specify the duration of the confidentiality, and outline the consequences of breaching the agreement. Most NDAs last between 2 to 5 years and should specify that the recipient cannot use or disclose your information for their own benefit. Never send proprietary details about your app, code, or business model without an NDA in place. If you're working with an agency, freelancer, or consultant, an NDA should be signed before any discussions even start. So now, let's talk about the contracts you should be issuing to friends and family, especially in the beginning when you're starting your business. This is one of the most overlooked legal risks because when you work with people you trust, you assume you don't need formal agreements. That is false. The truth is, mixing business with personal relationships is a recipe for misunderstandings, unpaid work, and of course, legal battles. If you're bringing on a friend or a family member to work on your app, you need a clear written agreement outlining roles, expectations, compensation, if there is any, and ownership rights. If they're helping for free, include a clear statement that their contributions do not entitle them to ownership, equity, or future compensation, unless explicitly agreed upon in writing. If they're investing money, you need a simple investor agreement that states the terms of their contribution, whether it's a loan or equity investment, and what they will receive in return. Never assume you can figure it out later. That's how small misunderstandings turn into legal disputes. Now let's talk about contracts for investors. If you're raising money, you need a legally binding agreement that clearly defines their role, equity, and rights. There are two main types of early stage investor contracts: the SAFE, for Simple Agreement for Future Equity, and convertible notes. SAFE agreements are used by many startups because they delay the valuation of your company until a later funding round. This allows you to bring in early investors without setting an initial price per share. Instead, the investor provides money now and receives equity later when your company officially raises a priced round. This is a clean and simple way to raise money without overcomplicating your cap table. Convertible notes, though, are another common option, especially if investors want repayment if things don't work out. A convertible note is a loan that converts into equity at a later date. The key difference is that if your company doesn't raise more funding or succeed, investors can get their money back, or at least partially. This structure can be appealing to certain types of investors, but it may add extra financial pressure on your startup. So always work with a lawyer to draft investor contracts. This is not something you want to do on your own or use ChatGPT. And so now, let's talk about contracts for team members, freelancers, and agencies. If you're hiring a developer, a designer, a marketer, or anyone else to work on your app, you need two critical agreements. One, an independent contractor agreement, and two, an IP assignment agreement. The independent contractor agreement outlines the scope of work, deadlines, payment terms, and confidentiality requirements. This protects both you and the contractor by ensuring there's clarity on what is expected and what happens if either party fails to deliver. Never hire a freelancer or agency without a written agreement, and certainly not one that is just written by them. You should be able to have your own and also one of theirs, so like this you can compare and adjust, so like this it is equitable for both sides. And even more important is the IP, or intellectual property. This contract ensures that any work created for your app, including code, designs, branding, or content, belongs to you, not the freelancer or agency. Many founders don't realize that without an IP assignment, the default ownership belongs to the person who created it, not the company that paid for it. This means a developer could technically claim rights to your app's code, or a designer could demand royalties for the logo they created for you. An IP assignment agreement transfers full ownership of all work to your company. This is non-negotiable. Never assume that just paying someone means you own their work. You have to have that in writing. So if you're hiring employees, you'll need employment agreements that outline their salary, benefits, non-compete clauses, and confidentiality requirements. These contracts should also include an invention assignment clause, ensuring that any ideas, features, or technology developed while working for you belong to the company. What about equity agreements for co-founders or early team members? If you have multiple co-founders or early employees receiving equity, you need a founders agreement or an equity plan. This prevents someone from walking away with a large chunk of the company after only a few months of work. A standard vesting schedule is 4 years with a 1-year cliff, meaning if a co-founder leaves before 1 year, they get nothing. And after 1 year, their equity starts to vest gradually. This ensures that only long-term contributors benefit from equity. Now, let's talk about processes to follow. When you're in this bootcamp, you'll be speaking about your ideas to other people, sometimes other group members, and the information is going to circulate. I want to make sure that you are doing this with due diligence and understanding that once you put things online, it is out there. You have to protect yourself as much as you can with the information that you give. So you should never casually share your app idea outside of our community or with anyone without some level of protection. Before discussing details with potential partners, employees, or agencies, always ask yourself, is an NDA necessary? Is this person a competitor? Do I trust them to keep this confidential? If you're pitching to investors, focus on the business opportunity, market potential, and traction, rather than revealing proprietary details or trade secrets. Many founders overshare too soon, leaving their ideas vulnerable to being copied or stolen. Be strategic about how much you disclose and when. Here's what you need to do next. Review all of your existing agreements, or if you don't have them yet, start putting them in place immediately. If you've already shared information without an NDA, be mindful of what's out there and consider following up with formal agreements before moving forward. If you're working with contractors or agencies, make sure IP assignment agreements are signed before any work begins. If you're talking to investors, consult a lawyer to ensure you're using the right contracts for your fundraising stage. And so your goal and your homework is to make sure that whoever you talk about in detail about your project needs to sign some sort of documentation to protect you. And it is okay to get friends and family to sign it. If they don't want to sign it, then you shouldn't probably talk to them about it. That tells a lot about not having family members and friends sign documentation. If you're going to be speaking about your ideas to them, it's really important to not have basically another Meta or Facebook situation happen again. See you in the next lesson.